So hello everyone. Welcome to today's water cooler chat, where we talk about all things Livepeer, whether it's delegating, broadcasting, gatewaying, transcoding, developing, or AI inference. We're here to ask questions and get answers. We got a couple topics ahead of us: Discord conduct, some other ways to increase engagement, updates on the AI subnet. In the essence of time, we'll start with Rick's topic, since you're not going to be here for more than 10 minutes. Rick, do you want to kick us off with kind of updates around the AI subnet and how is that coming along?
Yeah, 100%. Thank you for bringing me up first. So as stated in our latest release notes, we have three big upcoming updates that are a little bit breaking. So one of the updates is coming out this week. It's a rebase on top of the master. Basically, what it gives from the master branch is it gives a way for gateways to price by US dollar, but also orchestrators to price by US dollar. It gives a way to gateways to filter based on Golang versions, and that one we're gonna merge in this week. Probably at Wednesday we have to collaborate with Cloud on the best timing, because because it's breaking, we have to spin up some orchestrators. We're gonna do a base capacity for 3 or 5 days of 25 orchestrators, so that people have time to spin up their orchestrators, and after that we spin them down again. We try to get other features in there as well. So for example, a feature that Peter has worked on is that the pricing before this point was not taken into account as people sent multiple images. That will be fixed there. There is a fix also for the Whisper pipeline in there. So the current Whisper pipeline, it sometimes has problems with certain MP3 files, and that was fixed in this version as well. And we might add some other features in there depending on how quickly we're gonna release this breaking change. So just a heads up for orchestrators that we will post again an announcements in the announcements when it's released. So we first do some, like I said, some internal measurements to ensure that the network doesn't go down, that there is still supply. So that's what we start. So we list on our internal nodes first, then do the base capacity, then collaborate with Cloud so that they have it on their software, and then we push the release out on to the orchestrators. There's one breaking release after this, and then gladly there are not much more breaking releases. So the next breaking release is really the AI remote runner that has been ready for 1 month but still is in review, and that will be merged in also this month, and probably in the last week or the week before that. I think that was the update that I wanted to give. If there
Yes.
are any questions about that, just let me know. I'm here to answer.
And so these, just a quick recap. These are going to be breaking changes, as in whoever's running a current orchestrator will have to update.
Yeah, so so it is similar to the breaking change that happened when the transcoding site released this update for the minimum version. So there is another field in the get orchestrator message. This means normally RPC is back compatible. So basically, if you get a new field, it shouldn't crash the orchestrator there. But currently, because we're working on two branches, we have the AI branch, we have the gateway branch. There's incompatibility there. So currently, how we coded it, we encountered for there is two ways here to explain it really shortly. With the new software, old orchestrators can still get work from other gateways that are not updated, but they will not be getting work, or they're not compatible to get work with the newer gateways. So the nice thing there is that gateways can already enable the minimum version, so that will not happen. But also, if they forget that, it will do nothing to the orchestrator. It just gets a job and it states that the RPC is incompatible, because the back compatibility is only the other way around. So not when you have older software. Basically, it still works and nothing happens on your machine. On the other way around, there was a problem that we also handled. So if there was an old gateway sending jobs to a new orchestrator, it's also breaking, and that led to an incompatibility was more severe there, but that we handled with one quick check. And so currently for the network, there's nothing much going on except that as an orchestrator, you cannot get jobs from the new gateway. And it's similar to the transcoding side in that sense. So there is like this minimum version constraint, but even these people that forget, the orchestrators are not compatible with the new gateway software.
Livepeer Cloud's gateway is not updated at this point. So, if you're running the old software, I think the bulk of the testing requests coming through with startup programs are still coming through Livepeer Cloud gateway. So I think we are definitely working with the team this week to figure out, when and how we're going to update it. So orchestrators definitely be ready for an announcement from the cloud gateway when we update our gateway. But again, that was part of me catching up with Rick today, was to make sure, we're aligned on that front. So we will be updating this week for sure.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mike. And also the decision, it could have been, you could code it in a way that it's non-breaking there. But because the alpha of the network is so early, we decided that this deployment strategy makes more sense because we don't have downtime and we don't add extra code that is going to be redundant in the coming weeks.
So quick question then from my side is it now going to be changes from transcoding goes into master, and then also changes from AI go into master? So there's going to be one go Livepeer release going forward, or are we still going to be kind of managing a separate branch for?
Yeah. So like Peter says in the chat, so currently no, there is no real merge between the two softwares. Other than that, now it's the AI core team. We made it our dedication to keep our brands in sync with the main brands, because then, of course, we are in sync with their features, and also it makes a possible merge in the future easier. And also it gives us some time to test it out, also with the studio team and other gateways that are running to make sure that such a brand would make sense. So no, currently only the AI software
Got you.
is synced with the main brands, but not the other way around.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. So we don't want to disrupt the studio gateway. So they're going to continue to run the transcoding version of it, but AI will be compatible, but just not merge. It's still separate. Okay, no, it makes sense.
Exactly. Thank you.
Excellent. Any other updates from the AISPE?
I think not currently that I can think of. Everything is going really well. So currently, I'm really happy that the rebase was completed, was fully tested, looked for every possible conflicts or nil error that we could have. So we're very certain about it. And now we can really merge in. I think it's around 30 pull requests that still need to be merged in. So for me, this will really be a week of reviewing pull requests, getting in the code base, and doing release after release there. So there will be a lot of nice things to come. So the only blocking thing again is like the AI remote worker. But that will be merged in later this month. And also we have a minimum version constraint there, so that will make things a lot easier going forward.
Yeah, excellent. I got later on I got some topics around some like app ideas to use or some ideas around building some products using this, so we can dive into that later, but that's a great update, and thank you for all the hard work on that.
Yeah, also thanks to the community and also my whole team and everybody involved. There are still, even the bounty program, there's so many people that are currently involved, and it makes me extremely happy.
Excellent. Any other updates from the team? Interpreter, anything? No worries. Cool. Okay. Well, thank you for all that, and appreciate all the hard work putting into that. My ideas were around the a business model. Like I'm seeing a trend around business models using LLMs to help small businesses. And I can talk a bit about that. But it's basically taking voice recordings from every phone call that the business has, using Whisper to decipher, to put into text what is being said, and then training an LLM with that superset of data to now have a company-wide LLM that can answer questions for people training or people that need help or these kinds of things. And it seems to be a growing trend among small businesses that I'm seeing advertised. So I was like, I wonder if Livepeer can be some of the backbone for that, some of that compute.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So, as you probably also, Nico, he already made some headwinds on putting the LLMs to the Livepeer network. So, as the core team, we decided to still focus on our video-centric roots there. But I think LLMs can really be value in the future, also as demand bringers, but also as like intermediates between pipelines. So making really the user experience better so that people just can talk with the chatbot. We saw partners of us already doing this. So they have, for example, Hive Network, they have like a chatbot that you can interact with, and you can ask it to create a video, an image, and other pipelines to and it will be routed through the network. So there's a lot of possibility. But currently, from the core team, we decided to really focus on the core network development and also the video-centric pipelines. But there is an LLM pull request already out there, and I will do my best to review them probably after the AI remote worker gets merged in.
Is from the cloud SPE team, are you guys planning on doing any type of like packages, like a Python package, or like some sort of like some easy packages to for people to use the cloud SPE nodes easily, or is any ideas
No,
around
I
that?
think that's actually part of the AISPE's core mission, and I think they've already implemented some different programming language. Rick, maybe you can clarify there, but I know JavaScript and Python were a couple. I saw some Java ones, so I think they're already implementing these things.
Yeah, I can collaborate. Thank you so much, Mike, for putting that out. So we already have the SDKs, experimental ones, automatically generated for I think even 3 months or something, or longer than that. So currently, what we're working to with the ecosystem team is really releasing more production-ready SDKs. So there will still be alpha SDKs because they're the first version, so 0 up to 1. But they can already be used by apps to interact with any gateway. So it can be the cloud gateway, it can be the studio gateway, and we're closely collaborating with Studio as well, so that we ensure that our SDKs are compatible with all the gateways out there.
Right, and so the let's say like a Python SDK is just for how to interact with your own gateway.
Yeah, any gateway. You want to submit AI jobs to Livepeer Cloud, or you want to run your own gateway. I think there's a JavaScript one, a Python one, but you can, you write code against the SDK, and then the SDK handles all the complexities of, what inference steps, all the different kind of variables that you need to get the request submitted. It handles a lot of that for you, how to download images and, a bunch of things along those lines. So it's just an easier way to interact with the gateway versus the raw, go look at the API reference on livepeer.ai and check it out. So I haven't personally used those SDKs yet. And I know they're experimental. So I thought there were a couple people. I think Suhail, I think I'm saying his name right. Suhail, he's in the Livepeer Discord. He started using them and he's been playing around with them. So there are definitely folks giving them a shot.
Yeah, I wonder if it's worth doing like a tutorial on how to use these SDKs, and do a YouTube tutorial for people to, a couple lines of code, they can just spin up a Python script and start banging out, images and videos.
Yeah, Papa Bear posted the link in the GitHub repos that go to the SDKs. So there's some docs there probably would be useful, especially if we want to get more app builders on the network. Get a YouTube a suite of videos that show how to use it. Probably go a long way.
Yeah, it would be amazing. So that SDKs, yes, those are the experimental ones, but we are now also releasing like SDKs targeted at languages that also have some nice wrappers around it. For example, you can specify 2 gateways in those, so that it's just sugar wrapped around the automatic gateways. So, for example, 2 gateways there, so it does a failover, and also, for example, what you want to support is like URL-based image inputs and other nice things, so as better error handling, and those will be released later this month as well. So then everybody can really start using them.
Very cool. Yeah, I'll have to dig into this. Thank you for linking that, Papa Bear. I didn't know this existed, so it's awesome. All right, let's continue on. Any last comments around AI subnet work? Anyone can jump in. If you have any questions or comments? All right, cool. Let's keep going. And your topic is next. You kind of mentioned in your introduction, the token 2049 that's coming up, and also ways to increase engagement. Can you tell us what your thoughts are around what you would like to see and what your topic is?
So I'll start there, and then also I just want to update the community on some grants we recently accepted, and just give visibility there on what's being worked on through the grant program. But for the engagement side of things, I'm working right now with Rich on thinking about how do we increase top of funnel, not just for grants, but kind of the notoriety. Maybe notoriety is not the right word, but like the top of funnel ability for Livepeer, and how we get more builders in the ecosystem, how we get more engagement in the ecosystem, and how top of funnel channels like Twitter, Farcaster, our newsletter, how those things will plug into that. So in conjunction with marketing, Rich and I are going to be talking about that. Also within the community itself, thinking about, I'm not sure if people know Coinvise, but how do we reward those who are contributing in the community actively, and how do we promote more people to do meaningful contribution, right? Not just giving things for no reason, but people who are meaningfully furthering this the protocol, furthering Livepeer's reputation, and doing good work for the community, right? So like meaningful, not just like, oh, you commented, right? That's not meaningful engagement. So I'm just starting to think about that, and I really, as I'm starting to think about this, want to be informed by what the community already thinks. So I probably will drop my calendar. We don't use calendar, Google Calendar, somewhere in the Discord, and just ask people if they want to set up like a 15 or 30-minute call with me and chat about community stuff, feelings there, thoughts there, ways to improve, ways things are already good. That's kind of going to be a side project for me right now. So yeah, that's what I mean by increasing engagement. Yeah, I'm not sure if anyone has thoughts on that before I move to grant stuff, but that's a pretty big topic.
Yeah, for the most part, I think this call is orchestrators, right? So we're like the node operators. I think the app building and community generation stuff. Yeah, although I think folks here definitely would have some feedback. I think Discord's probably going to be a better place for that. Obviously, anyone here willing to jump in and chime in will have some feedback. I also do a bunch of app building, so I might be able to provide some feedback if requested at some point. I mean, Titan's building apps as well, so it's, we have definitely have a couple developers in here that.
Oh, Was that just
Oh,
me?
I thought it was me. No,
No.
it's
Mike just like zoomed off into space there for a sec.
I did.
There you go. Oh, you're back. There you go. Yeah. As for engagement, yeah, I guess it kind of depends. Sorry, and I might have missed it, but what are you? Is there a stakeholder you're specifically looking to increase engagement for? Like, is it developer, like users of the app, stakers, or is it node operators?
Across the board. So again, right, I think that Livepeer is unique because we have a bunch of different personas who are critical to the community. So like, while I'm talking, like it might not seem like node operators are necessarily what I'm saying, but I think it's everybody who's participating in the ecosystem and is making it run that's important to think about, like, well, for node personas, like how for that persona, like how are we, getting more people to run nodes or delegation or, all these different other personas that are critical for the ecosystem. So I'm just trying to learn where each persona is at. So don't count you guys out. Like don't count yourself out. Like you're important to Livepeer as well. So yeah, and also I think just like being in the Discord, I know a lot of you are in the Discord frequently. Just kind of what the vibes you feel are, negative, positive. My feelings won't be hurt. I just want to kind of understand how everything is going and how I can potentially help out. In improving things there. So yeah, basically, I mean, all different personas in the Livepeer ecosystem.
Yeah, I would say historically, basically the node operators are probably the most active, most engaged, most willing to show up on a Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern time to spend 2 hours talking about stuff. The node operators are I would say a pretty dedicated, showing up every week group. They're pretty strong backbone at this point. We've got lots of tools to run orchestrators and lots of grants and people being invited. So the node operating side of things has done, I think, really well. In terms of supply, I mean, supply on the network is just so saturated. Like there's just there's more GPUs on the network than there needs to be, right? Lots of GPUs are just idle, right? So from the node operating side, I would say that's it's doing well. Historically, what has been a struggle is just getting developers to build on top of Livepeer, getting providing an ecosystem for developers to use Livepeer, build on top of it, help understand it. And a lot of the questions that they have, node operators don't necessarily know how to answer. So that I think has been a big pain point in the past is how do you encourage a developer side of the community? Some node operators are developers, and so that works, but some aren't, and I'm probably the mix of being half good at just about anything. So I do water coolers, but and then the third side of it, the third stakeholder is the delegator, and like I mean, live pioneers are totally focused on that. Stakers really don't hang out in Discord. Sometimes they do, but they kind of just stake and leave. And so how do you encourage people just to make good decisions with their stake and enjoy their passive investment, basically? And I actually think that actually becomes more market-driven than it is activity-driven, because when the cycle of the boom and bust comes, like, it doesn't matter how hard you hit the gong during a bear market. Like, getting stakers is really, really hard. And then, the whole market goes up 10x in a month, and now you just get an influx of stakers and delegators with a single tweet, right? So I think the stakers are more of a market driven thing, and if you just have good information around how to stake and what stakers should do, like how to pick good orchestrators, I think that is just kind of a market kind of, as long as we're just helpful, we hang out in the delegating channel, we're just helpful, I think that's going to be how we get delegators. So that I think is just everyone's kind of goal is just to be helpful to delegators. So that market, I think it's just kind of more organic. So yeah, in the end, I think really the focus and the hard part about what we've been dealing with is how do you build tools for developers and how do you get them engaged and building on top of us. That is that would be just like the biggest ultimate unlock for Livepeer, in my opinion.
I appreciate that overview, Titan. Carbon, who's DevRel, I don't know if he's come to one of these calls, but I'm going to be working with him pretty closely on like developer community building and what it looks like to attract more developers to the ecosystem and how to clarify what people can build using Livepeer. So then, folks know that, okay, Livepeer is the go-to to, do this action or do that action, or, basically presenting our offerings in some, what did you call it, like example apps that people can tinker with. So Carbon is working on that. Again, I'm not a developer. I can play around in VS Code, but I maybe make a really terrible front end is the maximum capabilities I have. But yeah, so that is something to develop. And like you said, you mentioned like the kind of three groups that I've identified as well, and I've been thinking about how do you engage each one, how do you build hype, and all that good stuff. Sorry, I'm talking, but if other people have comments, feel free.
No, it's all good. Yeah, what I don't know if we've had Carbon on for a Q&A session. Have we in the past?
You need to get Carbon on.
Yeah. Let's get him on here. Let's. I'll reach out to him this week. So
awesome.
Cool.
Well, I can move on to the grant piece.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And also, if you want me to share less or more, let me know. But anyway, so the grants that we've recently accepted, some that are relevant to voting and stuff that has been coming up here recently. But we have the voting history for orchestrators that is been approved, and that's going to be done by PYOR. I can maybe post it in chat if people want to take a look at the application. But that has been approved by the grant committee, and they're going to get started pretty soon. Additionally, the XMTP integration. This was originally an application for the Livepeer Explorer, but now the integration will be tested on Live Pioneer app, and we will see if that can be merged over to the Livepeer Explorer. But right now, that's happening over at Live Pioneers, which is exciting. We also have UFO and Creative TV, who are companies that are integrating Livepeer's technology. And yeah, I can go into more details if people want, but those are the two others that we've accepted this month so far. So 4 grants, and I feel like at least the first 2 I mentioned are going to be pretty impactful for day-to-day things in the Livepeer ecosystem. So excited for those.
Great. Good to hear. Well, I appreciate all the effort put into that. It's good to hear that we can have this new communication channel between delegators and orchestrators. This way of communicating, or I guess it's transparency of orchestrator voting mixed in with a messaging system.
Yeah, the messaging system. So the voting transparency, that will be on Livepeer Explorer. The messaging between different parties on the network, that will be first integrated in Live Pioneer, their app, and then the grant committee will decide if it's strong enough to be moved over into the Livepeer Explorer applications or app. So maybe I should say app website. So that's kind of what that landscape's looking like. But yeah, the voting record will be integrated into the Livepeer Explorer.
Very cool. I like it. Any other comments or questions around this this grant or the grants or any community or what is it, engagement opportunities within the Livepeer ecosystem? Anyone else have any comments on it? No, right on. Well, thank you, En, for sharing all that. That's amazing. So, yeah,
Of course.
if you need support from us or want to get some feedback, yeah, feel free to swing by anytime. This is great stuff.
Thank you for having me.
Cool. Okay, let's continue on to the last couple topics. So yeah, we'll go on to my topic around Discord conduct. For those that missed the conversation in general channel on Tuesday, just want to keep a reminder out there for everyone to keep things civil. It's okay to have heated discussions. It's okay to get into very specific topics, have opinions. These are all important things to having a community that is constructive, but also trying to stay aligned with the goals of the network and as we have a treasury, since we've had a treasury, things have become a lot more a lot more open to debate in voting, right? In the past, our only voting was LIPs, and LIPs are basically just protocol upgrades, whereas Treasury now we get into, not just a protocol upgrade, which is a code change, but rather like funding, right? And so funding comes with a set of emotions, expectations. They come with a set of, bureaucracy and kleptocracy and all types of interesting dynamics, people from all around the world with different views. And so, yeah, it's I would say we want to encourage good, healthy debate. There was one moment there where I think there was some name calling, and if for those that don't know, I feel I put out a post being basically saying I feel like I was kind of personally attacked a little bit, just through some name calling, and I'm just glad it was me and not anyone else, because it did feel quite discouraging. It felt pretty bad to be called a name in Discord. In 3.5 years here, I don't think I've actually seen someone be called a name, in Discord for any reason. So it happened. I'm glad it happened to me because, I wouldn't want anyone else to feel kind of this way, this kind of upset or disengaged from the community. So yeah, I just want to reiterate, respectful talk, respect for each other. We're all trying to build something interesting and unique in a decentralized, global manner, right? So just keep discourse clean and positive whenever possible. I don't believe I know where the Discord rules for Livepeer are. There used to be a hashtag rules channel. I think it was under welcome. I don't believe it's there anymore, so I can't even find the Livepeer rules. And one of those rules is actually like no LPT price talk, which we all know if people have been around long enough, but I think we have to accept them before we get into the Discord, but nonetheless, you can't review them. I can't seem to find them anywhere. But along, one of the rules is, no LPT price talk and the other one is, be respectful and talk in a constructive and appropriate manner. So just keep things positive whenever possible. For everyone who's in the Discord, I think is really important. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up, and thanks for everyone who DM'd me and reached out and just kind of like, wanted to support me. I really appreciate those DMs. They really were heartfelt, and knowing that I have support in the community. So really, really cool. So thank you all.
Yeah, I just have one comment on that end. I think like in terms of like from a Discord perspective, like having that rules channel is very important. And also kind of like potentially in Q4, as I start thinking more about community, like those are the type of things where we need a structure where folks can step in. I didn't read the situation that happened, but I should probably go back and read it. But yeah, I think that like having those guidelines and then having kind of a process by which mediation happens, or there are kind of excitations or consequences, or whatever the case may be. That's really important. And I think when things like this happen, it's an opportunity to identify how we can make the community stronger. But yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you, Tan.
Yeah, no, it is what it is. So it was a bit of a shock, to be honest. Like, I was kind of flabbergasted that it was going in this direction. Like, I was kind of like, wow, all right. So yeah, I tried to just pull it back a little bit and trying to be civil about things. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate what you did. I think it's, whether or not you have a disagreement with somebody or not is one thing, and another is about the manner in which you approach it. And, a pretty long track record of working with large groups of people and running large organizations. And the last thing you're going to achieve is moving a group of people forward by insulting them or accusing them of things with, I mean, I think it's fair to point out flaws, fair to point out thinking that's incorrect when you have facts, but you can't make generalizations that aren't true and accusations, unsubstantiated in such a way that's not constructive. And that certainly was the case. And I definitely applaud you for taking the high road. I myself tried to stay quiet. I mean, in my experience, when you're the direct focus of these types of accusations, you're not necessarily going to make progress with the accuser by trying to debate with them, because often the topic will just be changed once you start getting to just deconstructing the argument or the accusations. They'll just go to another one. So yeah, I felt the same way you did. But I did not go out there directly to point out these problems, and I appreciate that you did so. And you're presenting it as something is kind of directed at you. I know it wasn't just directed at you; it's directed at a number of people. And again, thank you.
Yeah. It was an interesting situation. I mean, for anyone that does feel like reading the comments, feel free to scroll back through general channel. But I just, in Discord, keep things positive. It's okay to have disagreements, but just keeping things positive is going to be the most important part of continuing the conversation. Treasuries can be emotional. They can have they can bring out a real deep sense of passion, just like politics, funding, whether it's corporations or government or decentralized treasuries or wages, employment, compensation of any kind is going to bring out some form of opinion that is probably deep rooted in people. It's not a small deal. So yeah, just keeping things positive, and yeah, I won't harp on it anymore. Just wanted to bring that up. And yeah, thanks for everyone for the support.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just also wanted to add, like, regarding the situation. I mean, I've been in Livepeer for slightly over 3 years now, and present in Discord, I would say probably like almost every day, if not every day, during that time. And I've never seen anything like this happen before. And I mean, there's been heated debates, but I've just never seen it devolve into what happened this time. So I think to some extent it's understandable that Livepeer doesn't have any like it didn't have any way to deal with this, because it's at least during the last 3 years I haven't seen anything like this come up. But I think it's worth considering having some sort of a timeout or something like that, which sounds to me kind of silly to have for you know a group of adults that are talking on the internet. But it just becomes so I felt like once it gets to a certain point, it's not beneficial, and the debate ends when it turns into what some of the things that happened during that you know over the last week or so. So I'd like to be able to like have the healthy debate, and that's certainly happened in the past, but it was really ever devolved into the name calling and personal attacks and things like that had nothing to do with the actual issue at hand. So I think it's worth. I don't know how to go about making rules or having some kind of thing, and but I think there should be some way to kind of just shut this down. I'm not saying to ban people, but maybe there's a cooling off period or something like that, just to keep things. Because I'll be honest, you know, I mean, I was on one of the sides there, that was being criticized, so I tried to stay out of it to kind of just to keep it as civil as possible. Um, oh man, I'm losing my train of thought here. But yeah, I just think that overall, I'd like to be able to see debates happen. I think it's important. Actually think that there were a lot of good points brought up, but things that I just felt like I couldn't even really comment on because I expected to get I didn't expect it to get a response that would be uh, I didn't feel like the conversation would keep going on a track of just I appreciate that your thoughts on that and these types of things without it just getting into a nasty place. So yeah, just anything we can do to, if anyone has ideas on how to just encourage debate's great, but keep the personal uh, attacks, I guess, to a minimum.
Yeah, definitely.
I have just a comment. So historically I've done a lot of digital and in-person community building. And one thing I'll say about like online space is I think it's really easy, especially if you're alone on your computer or on your phone to like get like accelerate very quickly. I mean, I think we all know this being online. But I think in terms of like, community building, it's really important that there are kind of parameters that are enforced. Um, and, as I kind of think about community stuff in Q4 and later in Q3, like this is kind of one of the community audit things I'll be doing most likely, and kind of trying to understand like how we want to approach this, because when things like this happen, as terrible as they are, they're an opportunity to understand like, okay, well, how do we make it so this can be avoided in the future, or that we have things in place that people know they can rely on, saying, hey, this was like hurtful, or this was a personal attack, and then that can be followed through with, okay, well, here's what we're going to do, and here's what accountability looks like in the community. So yeah, hopefully those things come soon, and if people want, I can always elevate that with the team if we want to have that happen sooner. Just let me know.
Great. Very says, yes, I'd suggest a 1 week timeout in the mod channel. I don't think the timeouts are enabled, though. Otherwise, I would have given a timeout myself. Yeah, I didn't, just to reiterate, I didn't even realize timeouts were a feature of Discord, so maybe we could ask the server admin to enable those. And I think that would be probably just the correct answer. Because yeah, the mods have a ban and kick option, but like that wasn't an appropriate answer for the situation either. So yeah, maybe we can just I would maybe we in the mods or we can reach out to the server admin. We can do two things. I think reposting the rules under the welcome section so that we can reference them in case things get out of control, I think is important. Actually, in my response, I wanted to quote the rules, but like I couldn't find them. So I think reposting the rules, having them available, and then second, just hopefully the server admin adds a timeout option for the mods. That would be an appropriate tool as well. Yeah. Otherwise, go to the Telegram channel and you scream all you want over there. I think that's somewhat the place to go. Even then, I don't think name calling is allowed over there, but it's a slightly different conversation and demographic over there, I think. Cool. Okay. Yeah, we'll continue on. I won't harp on it anymore. So thank you all for listening and being constructive during these times. To one other topic I wanted to bring up was around the Livepeer Pioneers proposed pre-proposal. I reached out to them for them to use the payment stream contract as an option for their year-long proposal. They're looking for guardians right now, so that the payment stream contract issues has two guardians that are keen to kind of maybe follow up with the project, making sure that they're kind of doing what they said they were going to do, in a very minimal way. Basically, if they're putting in good faith, and that's obvious to the community, then everything is going fine. If they've just disappeared and basically ghosted the project 6 months in, then the guardians have the ability to revert the funds. So they are looking for two guardians. I think people that understand, people that are present in either following their progress, people that are following the Twitter, maybe use their application, are quite regularly around. I think that would be an appropriate person. So if you are interested in being a guardian, just maybe DM Live Pioneers or myself, and we can just add your address as a guardian to it. So yeah, and that would be if they go for it, that would be the second treasury proposal with the payment stream contract, which is pretty interesting. So yeah, basically, rather than getting a year lump sum salary up front, it was just gonna slowly stream it over 12 months. And so for those that don't know what the hell I'm talking about, I'll post it in the chat around what it is, and if you have a proposal or anything that is going to be time based, this could be a good option for your proposal. So yeah, again, any people that are interested in standing up and being a guardian, please let me know. Okay, with that being said, yeah, we're basically done all of our topics. Any last comments or questions anyone want to write in chat or bring up before we end the call? Great chatting, everyone. Well, thank you, En, for coming. Thank you, everyone, for coming up onto the stage, joining in on the conversation. Just a reminder to look out for the AI breaking change release that's going to be coming out. So if you are running an AI orchestrator, just watch out for that. I believe that would be in the orchestrator announcement channel. That update would be there. Otherwise, thank you all for coming, making Livepeer the open and decentralized video infrastructure of the world. I'm going to attempt to get a Q&A session for next week. Thank you all for coming. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
See you
Bye,
later,
all.
everybody. Thanks.